You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean Johnson.
The AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AfterBuzz TV's R&B Divas After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's R&B Divas After Show.
Yeah, here we go. Meg Scoop.
And on that note, as we turn down Megan's mic so that she doesn't sing or talk for the entire after show here on AfterBuzz, Bing is for doing, and we're doing another episode of R&B Diva Season 2, Episode 5, A Good Day to Cry Hard. I'm your host, Bamm Ericsen, and I would like to introduce Tone Deaf.
That was
me.
Messed up.
My name is Megan Thomas at Meg Scoop on Twitter and Instagram.
See how that's such a pretty voice. See, that's not pretty. That's not pretty. The other voice is pretty.
My
but
granny
anyway,
said I could sing.
Her granny, don't do it to her, your grandbaby. Go ahead.
Alfred Thomas. You can find me on Facebook or at All Eyes on Black.
Oh, and I'm your host, Larice Shamar, and I'm here with the lovely host tonight.
All right, so let's get into it.
Why do you keep looking at me?
Like, don't sing.
I just don't.
You don't know what's gonna come out.
I just don't know when you're gonna sing. And turn your mic down.
And here we go.
Okay, so R&B Divas Season 2, Episode 5. A Good Day to Cry Hard. This was
Serious.
Emotional.
Timely. I think.
And it was good timing, as Faith Evans said,
Yes.
that it was really good that everyone can kind of put a differences their side and their beef because there's a bigger issue at hand. So, just your initial thoughts of the episode overall.
I thought, okay, if they're able to do this and there's a chance for this tour, there's a chance that this tour will work because of the petty issues that they've had in the past. If you can't put that aside for a good cause, then there's no way you can do a tour. But this episode proved to me that they probably can do a tour.
Okay,
We'll get to that though.
I personally believe that it gave an opportunity for you to see more inside the women's hearts and see how they feel and what they go through and what they deal with. And I really like just how this had a great arc to what was going on with the overall show because it was getting kind of ratchet. It was getting kind of angry all the time. And I was like, these are educated women who have made successes out of themselves. Let's see something else. And then they finally gave it to us in a real impactful way. Something that hurt to our community.
I mean, I kind of agree with everybody. Like, the show tonight really kind of, like, touched on a lot of things. You know, touched on a lot of personal issue amongst all the girls themselves. It touched on the growth of themselves overall and how they can actually come together and actually put on a showcase, you know, not simply for themselves, just for the profit or anything, but they did it for sure, you know, whereas that they did it for a cause, and the cause was basically like HIV and AIDS. You know, and I think that they did a great job. Everybody kind of stepped up to the challenge, even though they had to overcome a lot of emotional struggles amongst themselves, because it seemed like everybody they lost somebody to HIV and AIDS. You know, but at the same time, they kind of took that hurt and pain and that memories of those individuals and was able to be successful and come on stage and share that pain with other people who possibly have lost someone because of HIV and AIDS or because of some type of sickness or illness.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Megan, you said that you think that if they could come to a greater cause to sing and do what was appropriate, you think that they're able to do the tour. I hate to be the negative one, but I disagree. This was a special occasion. I don't believe there was any money involved. There was no who's going to headline. There was nothing that. There were no questions about money, who's going to sing what, who has much time. You know, they all got up and sang a song, and they all did it for a cause, and it was something special to the heart. I feel that this is a great episode, but I do think that they're going to go back to, as you say, turned up, or there's going to be some ratchet moments. And I don't believe this tour is ever going to happen because there's way too many women. And I feel it's way too many women, and there's too many factors of money, who's going to headline, who's going first, who's going second, and there's just too much. And I think 7 women is too many people to go on to a tour with. I was at Faith Evans' concert last night, and her concert was damn near 2 hours. So.
Hold on, last night?
I'm sorry, last week.
I'm about to say, I didn't get another invite. Yeah. Oh, you're going to get it.
Her concert last week was almost 2 hours. And with some of the women, they have a longer roster of songs, and then some don't. I just don't think it's going to happen. So that's just my opinion.
But I think, I will say this, I don't think all 7 of them will be on a tour together. But I do think that there will be a tour of some sort.
But you gotta look at it like with tour and the way they gotta kind of orchestrate it to basically like, hey, if all 7 do go and you have 21 shows, basically what it has to split up into basically like everybody basically get the headline for each other throughout those 21 shows. So each person get the headline at least 3 times throughout those 21 shows. But at the same time, I understand you said Faith, it was like a 2-hour concert, but you have to look at that was her own personal showcase.
She would never, not on the tour, she wouldn't be that long.
I don't feel there is any way that some of them will be willing to allow others to headline. Let's keep it real. Nicki Gilbert of Brownstone, Latasha, and Selena Johnson, they don't have a lot of hits. What would Selena Johnson be doing headlining a tour?
It's up to the management company.
I don't think that's what I'm saying. I think that what Larice is saying is true, which is they would have to switch up who goes in the headline position, which is the last slot of the show.
And it's like,
and it would never be the same.
It have to be the management company. It's not their decision. It's like, okay, the management company has to come in and say, hey, this is what the show is going to be. This is who's going to headline when. And they don't have no say-so in it at all. It's all up to the management company, not them, because it's a tour together. It's not their own personal tour. And they bring all these individuals in to basically like, hey, open up for me as I headline my show. It's basically, hey, this is a company who's orchestrating a tour to give these ladies an opportunity to come out to reunite their career, where they have to basically be like, okay, well, we don't make the decision. Our managers don't make the decision. The company makes the decision, and they have to accept it. And like I said, Angie said she wants the tour when she was talking to Latasha. It's like, I want to do the tour.
But do you really honestly think Angie would be okay being the first one up?
She's thirsty.
I mean, but at the same time,
she won't do it. She probably won't do it.
Well, so I just don't think the tour is going to happen. That's just my opinion. But we can continue this, and let's transition now into Angie, because Angie was not able to make the LA trip to go to Shirley Ralph's charity event because she was in the studio with producer Drummer Boy, and so she was working on new material. She and Latasha were the 2 that were not able to make it. Let's talk about Angie.
I think that could have been like held back because studio time can basically, I mean, Drummer Boy, I'm pretty sure he has a busy schedule, but at the same time, you're doing something for a cause. You know, he's at your availability, you know, and you at his exposed. But at the same time, I just feel like they didn't accomplish enough that I saw in the studio to where that she had to miss the event in LA.
But more so, I believe with her trying to get camaraderie with the girls, it was more important for her to be at that situation, be there, especially when Nicki was going down for, you know, her emotional reasons. She's supposedly the mother kind of figure within this group of adult women. It would have been nice to see her be more of a team player or finally get involved to where you see her on stage with the girls doing something amazing.
I agree.
But I think she had more to do than just that. Just a session with Drummer Boy, because if you notice when she's at the dinner with them, she doesn't really say what she has. She just says she has stuff that she has to do. So I think there might have been other stuff involved, maybe family stuff that she didn't want to get into. So
or maybe some kind of obligation. But I did think to myself, you just in the studio. You can reschedule that thing.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying it has to be more than that, because I don't think she would have just said no to go to Diva Simply Singing just for a studio session.
But also for the record, Angie Stone has performed at Shirley's Ralph charity event before in the past. So maybe she felt like let these other women who have to get off their emotions, have to get it off their chest. Maybe she felt that it was more important for them to go, and she kind of falls back. But I feel like I agree. If she didn't have anything in contractual to do, she should have been there.
But she probably would have.
Just for the support,
I think
even if she wasn't performing.
what did you guys think about Angie when she was speaking with Drummer Boy in regards to how?
Everybody laugh.
Hey,
Hold on, I'm gonna get it together. So Angie said that one of the reasons that she has been able to stay relevant is because she knows how to transcend from
First class, baby.
from first class of how she knows how to take her audience, which is the adult contemporary
yeah.
I'm laughing. You just say it.
artist,
plus over.
and she knows how to blend it in, as she call it, with the knee high, the youngins, and she knows how to fuse the two together.
Find me that hit.
No, she's had a bunch of hits. She just, I will say this. I feel like maybe there was a more humble way she could have said that. Perhaps. I get what she's saying. She has reinvented her career over and over again in the past 30 years.
I don't think so.
No, she has. I mean, because I work in radio, and so she has. People that are in their 20s know who she is. And if your grandma knows who she is, and somebody in their 20s knows who she is, then that is saying that she has had a very good career and that she's doing very well. But
you and I have both. You and I both have worked in radio, but I would say probably for the last 10 years.
I can't. I don't have anything. That's memorable.
No. She's had.
But when she on episode 1, when she referenced how she's had 2 top 20 hits, but your career has spanned over 30 years, and you that was something she should have rewound the tape, because I mean she's had more than 2. She's had more hits than the 2, but to say you've been in the business for 30 years and you've had 2 top 40 hits.
But I think for her, she has found ways, because just because you reinvent yourself doesn't mean that every single time you're going to be doing the same thing. That is, oh, I'm a #1 hit singer. She's been a background singer. She's been a hit singer. She's collaborated with people. She's played the background. And I think that's what she's saying, which is she continuously makes her career move and shake. And it may not always be I am a #1 hit singer, and that's okay. But she had. Why are you still laughing?
I mean, she came out with several songs last year.
She did.
Yeah, Rich Girl, Sisters. Yeah, I remember Sisters.
I mean, she still has stuff going on.
Well, I mean,
I remember.
I think for me, it just brings up the topic, being a artist of a caliber, or being around so long. For me, the whole reinventing yourself is something that you stay amongst the top ranking. And for me, it was seeing somebody who is in her career and knows how to stay relevant and exist within it, but at the same time, it shows the different issues that artists go through.
What is it?
And looks like we have a special announcement from our producer of AfterBuzz TV, Mr. Phil. How's it going?
Welcome, everybody. Bamm, was it you that came to me and said you really wanted to do R&B Divas when we first started?
Yes, it was me.
That's right. So, fans of AfterBuzz, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Phil Svitek. I do many things around here, to say the least. But one of the things I really pride myself on is when our hosts really come to the table and say, hey, guys, here's a show that we're not doing that fans would love. Can we do it? And R&B Divas was one of those shows, and obviously now we're doing it. So I'm very proud of that fact here at AfterBuzz TV, and even more so that we continue to add shows at no cost to you. Part of that, though, is every now and then we may ask you guys to do something, and the thing that we're asking now is to go to, as you guys are listening to this on iTunes, take a stop over, download Adventures of Serial Buddies. It's a comedy. It's the first serial killer buddy comedy of all time. It's actually made by a lot of the AfterBuzzers here. And the song you're hearing is actually from the movie.
Yes.
It's not just random burps. It's got Henry Winkler. It's got Christopher Lloyd, Christopher McDonald, Artie Lang, Beth Bears from Two Broke Girls, Kathy Lee Gifford, Henry Winkler, Richard Christie from The Howard Stern Show. I mean, the list goes on and on of actors that are phenomenal in this. And so I feel like a lot of our fans... Yes, Bamm?
Maria Menounos.
Maria Menounos. Yes, indeed. She's in it as well. So I feel like it's right up the alley in terms of what you guys as fans would enjoy. And so, stop on by Adventures of Serial Buddies. It's available on iTunes. If for some reason you don't know how to use iTunes, which is baffling to me if you're listening to the show, but just go to serialbuddies.com. There's a link there that'll take you right over. So thank you guys. Back to your regular scheduled programming.
Thank you. But I do like that beat. It's hot. With the verse,
Yes.
Okay, so as we were saying in regards to Angie Stone, so she continues to reinvent herself, and she made the comment about how how she deals with things first class, is she wants to have the ladies kind of have that same mentality where she is very first class in the sense of how she's able to reinvent herself, and now she's able to always.
I think that's what stamps her as a legend.
Yeah.
In a lot of people's eyes is the fact that, you know, when she comes to the table, she comes with her heart, she comes with so much soul.
Why you look? You won't stop hating on my girl Angie, okay?
And all right, let's talk about Latasha.
And so Latasha.
Hater.
Let's talk about Latasha.
So Latasha, okay, now again, as we said in regards to Angie Stone, I felt that her meeting with Jermaine Dupri, you are trying to reinvent yourself. You are trying to get yourself back out there as a solo artist.
Yes.
This would have been the perfect platform for Latasha to be there rather than have a meeting with Jermaine Dupri, which you're really close with Jermaine Dupri. So why couldn't you reschedule? Jermaine Dupri's also in LA a lot of times as well. So
Yeah.
I just
But
don't
he's
understand.
busy, though.
I understand he's busy,
Yes,
but
he's very busy.
I understand that he's busy,
Okay.
but why couldn't
Yeah, I just
Rocky
felt like
reschedule?
overall that she could have rescheduled. Cause even like the information that he was giving her, it wasn't like, okay, well, it was nothing important to where relevant to like, okay, you shouldn't have went to LA. You should have came and saw me, because he told us like out of the whole escape, it's like it's 1 million fans.
What,
Like,
can we just break that down just a little bit? So when she goes, she stays in Atlanta, and so
Yeah.
what happens is she goes and she meets with Jermaine Dupri. Jermaine Dupri, I'm sorry,
Blows
but
her up.
Jermaine, he looks bored. And
Yeah.
when she was referencing how she wanted Jermaine to be a part of her new project, he was like, and then he was getting ready to say a line that men say, know what I mean? You know when a guy says, know what I mean? Or, Larice, you say it. Can you say it?
know what I mean?
Not a man.
When a guy says,
Know what I mean? It's like I'm blowing you off.
it means that he's blowing her off. And
Yeah, it didn't
her
seem like-
husband Rocky came in and to start to kind of give a little explanation for what Latasha was trying to do. But then Jermaine starts looking at his iPad. I thought that was rude, Jermaine Dupri. I thought that was rude.
But hold on, wait a minute though, because a lot of like being in this industry, being in radio, being in music, I will tell you that happens a lot. And it's not, and yes, it is rude. It is rude. You shouldn't do that. But a lot of people, especially of his caliber, they will listen and they're doing business at the same time. And this is normal in this business.
I know it's normal because I have bosses who do the same thing. But what I'm saying is, he was not playing with his iPad in the beginning. He seemed to play with the iPad once he became bored with what she was saying, and then as an excuse, he's playing with his iPad.
That happened to me on a date.
Didn't look like he was, and it didn't look like he was having business. It just looked like he was doing this.
But I mean, I thought he probably was checking emails.
I just thought it was rude.
I mean, but at the same time, I
is
just
rude.
think the relevance of the meeting, that it didn't go as well as she wanted to go, because she just felt as if like, hey, you know, I have such a great relationship with Jermaine Dupri. I just did a 20th year reunion with So Def. Like, maybe he might be interested in doing new music with me. But his whole mentality, his demeanor when he came off was like, hey, what type of music that you have that can basically like put you with the younger crowd right now?
And he also
Because it says she doesn't have a voice for herself when it comes
Yeah.
to
Yes.
identity out there musically.
Yeah.
He's right.
And something else that he said was kind of cold, but I understand where he's coming from. He says fans. he says fans will never. Your fan base will never be the new generation. And I thought that was kind of cold. So
I
what
think
did
it
you
was
guys think?
more of a gut check than anything.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean,
It's like
I think he's going to give her the hardest road to success because he knows where she come from. He was a
Yeah.
part of that. And, you know, he has that forever stamped to his heart. So he's like, you might as well go back to that fan base in order to get back on the road of what you want to do. But, you know, this whole new vision, I think that's something that all artists that are old, that have done things, that have a certain kind of stature, have to deal with, especially when it comes to years have gone by, you want to come back, or you were part of a group and now you want to go solo, is deal with the fact that you're forever going to be stamped with that
What
that
you once
image.
was.
Yeah.
And
But
what
she
you
better,
done.
she better talk to Angie Stone and reinvent herself.
I know, right?
Go to high class. Right
No,
now.
I mean, I think it's right. What he said was very cold, unfortunately, but it's true.
It's the truth.
It's very true because think about it. Angie Stone has been able to reinvent herself because she hasn't taken a break. So every couple of years she comes out with something new. She does something different. But you haven't seen Latasha in 10 years at least.
It's gonna be
Since the
real
group.
hard.
So yeah, so there's been a big gap there. So how can you can't, it's really hard to reach out to people when you've been gone for so long. So I think that's what he was trying to tell her. Like, you can't really be relevant to the 15 and 16-year-olds. They have no clue who you are.
Right, and he did clean it up and say that you need to first go to 25% of the people that bought the Escape records. You need to go to them first.
The loyal fan base, yeah.
The loyal fan base, the 25% are going to still buy those records because of who you are. So you need to go with them. It's kind of the same thing with SWV did when they came back with their latest CD with the cosign. What they did. So good.
It was so good.
All right.
But what they did was they went back to their original roots and they went and got that 25% of the fans who bought their music back in the 90s.
Yeah.
And that's how they were able to.
But I think her problem is she wants to kind of dead that and have this whole like blossoming flower thing that he doesn't necessarily believe in.
Again, it's going to basically go back to the first 25%, you know, of her old fans, but it's also going to go back to her style of music. It's going to have to be more upbeat, and she had to change her range and basically like really kind of cater to a new market, and she really had to get with a great marketing team that's going to help brand her in the light, like, hey, this is the new Latasha. She has the upbeat music that she, you know, she's upbeat. Like, seriously, like, she can have to change her whole, like, style of music.
And she had a solo album back after Escape, after they disbanded, but I honestly,
I didn't hear it.
I can't hear. I can only hear her voice as the lead in the songs that she did with Escape. So, like Jermaine said, you need to go and record as many songs as possible, and then that way they could figure out what's her style, how she's gonna go into building her her brand as a solo artist.
Yes.
Now, just really quickly, what did you guys think about the conversation that Latasha had with her sister and her mom?
I thought it was a little catty, but I mean, good setup for the meeting that she had with Jermaine Dupri.
Yeah, I didn't really think too much of it, you know, because they just kind of feel the same way everyone else feels, that, oh, Latasha, you did great, you know, even though, you know, the other group members didn't come, but you still did your thing. So they all in support like a family should be.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you can't hate her mother for saying, you know, they were not missed. What else would what else would
Right.
mom say?
You was good.
Yeah.
My baby.
Like my granny saying, "Me, I can sing." So.
Oh, bless your heart.
All righty then.
Okay, so now let's go into the rest of the R&B Divas, where they all flew out to LA to go to Shirley Ralph. So most of you are familiar with Shirley Ralph from Moesha, that was on UPN. She played Brandy's mom, and she also, not only is she an acclaimed actress, but she's also a singer.
Yes.
She was one of the original members of the Broadway play Dreamgirls, which she played the character that you guys see Beyonce played. That was actually played by Shirley Ralph.
Yes.
So the Dina character. So she's a true singer. So she's had this this charity event.
Diva Simply Singing.
Yeah. Diva Simply Singing for close to 20 years, and it's with female singers who can obviously sing, but you have to be able to sing with piano only, and that's really difficult if you're a singer, because you know sometimes all the other instruments can kind of drown your voice out.
Or the auto-tune,
and auto-tunes. But a true
Get you there.
But a true singer or a true diva, which is a diva as an opera singer, but a singer should be able to sing with piano only. So that's what she has, and so she had a young lady that was playing for all the R&B Divas. So let's just go right into it. So what did you guys think about the initial meeting where things start to unravel with some of the girls once they met Shirley Ralph?
Once they got
to LA, and then they met with Shirley Ralph.
I mean, I'll say that I think this is a real. I felt like, okay, this is going to be something good for these girls, because this is tapping into something deep for them. If you see, everybody gets emotional. Nicki starts crying when she talks about her brother, or her brother cousin, and
her cousin Kenny.
Like a brother.
That's like a brother, yes.
Yeah.
And then, you know, all out of nowhere, we see that Kiki again goes. She starts crying. But did you see Shirley Ralph's face though when Kiki started? Kiki was just like this, and Cheryl was looking at her like,
"Are you okay?
Girl, what's wrong with you?"
She's like, "Y'all keep talking," and Cheryl was just kind of like, She didn't get it. But then, of course, they explained that Kiki had a family member that died from the disease. So yeah.
No.
She had someone who had it.
She has someone who has it.
Somebody close to her that has it.
living with it, and it's
emotional for her.
It's emotional for her to deal with it because she's close to that family member.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then it was Monifa, whose brother Kevin, who
passed away.
in 1995.
Yeah, it was deep.
So
episode.
it was extremely deep for the women to have to go through this.
I think it was glad that at least somebody within themselves was able to relate to the cause. You know, because a lot of times you have a lot of singers, they do shows for like charity events or different foundations, but they don't have anyone that personally affects them. I think that being that Monifa, Nicki, and Kiki actually can relate to having know someone that was close to them, I think that's what made the show a much better show, because then you got to see the emotional side, the serious side of each and every single one of them. Because it was actually a real serious episode. It wasn't like a lot of joking or anything, but it was like super, super deep feelings, you know, amongst the three of them. But then all the girls can relate to it because they are all friends.
Yeah, I was happy to see this episode because, as I said before, it felt like with season 2 that the women seemed extra turned up for no reason.
Right.
It wasn't no Nicki and Selena drama this week.
Yeah.
Right. There was no mention of the two. There was nothing. Like, it was just all harmony.
Came together.
Yeah. And so Faith sung her Tears of Joy, which is on the R&B Diva.
She sounded bomb diggy.
Yeah. And so Faith Evans sung Tears of Joy, which is, I believe, it was a single for her CD last year. Yeah. And so she got up and she sang Tears of Joy, and she teared up and she was very emotional. So I thought Faith's performance was great. What did you guys think?
I thought it was a great intro.
Yeah, I think it definitely was a great intro, but like with Faith tearing up and them being able to see her tear up, it allowed them to kind of really understand it's okay to cry through the song as you're performing, but just continue to perform through your song, because we understand your pain that you're going through your song and through your words and through your tears. So I think that kind of helped Kiki out a lot, even though she kind of like stopped, but then she continued to sing. But then with Nicki, you know, she was just kind of like.
What's interesting for me is I would have imagined most singers of their calibers, they've probably have sung at funerals and other kind of sad occasions. So I would think that to be emotional when singing and to get through it will be something that they've experienced or can do.
Well, I think this particular time it was more, you know, home hitting with them, with it being their family members or their friends, and them actually having to address those issues, as well as being in a situation where you're singing with divas. So I think, you know, the bar was set pretty high when Faith hit the stage, and it becomes I want to impact all these people. I want to make this statement for my loved one. I want to just do so great that you finally become vulnerable. And you see these divas who have all this acclaim, who have all this, you know, things that they have achieved, all of a sudden be put back into a humanistic place that we all have to deal with from time to time, and that is, you know, having to deal with your issues and maybe even having to go beyond that and perform and, you know, hopefully change somebody or affect somebody in the right way. But that's a lot of.
And I would also say too, I think that goes to show you how deeply HIV and AIDS affects the African American community, because if you see these women, you know, they are all. If you said a cause like autism, or if you had said a cause of heart disease, maybe all of them would have been like, okay, you know, I know somebody, but it might not have affected them. But the fact that it affects them this much goes to show you how deeply this disease affects our community, and why stuff like Diva Simply Singing is needed to raise money to bring awareness to this issue.
Like Cheryl Lee Roth was saying with the quilt, and how we're underrepresented as people because we just don't address or deal with our own issues that you can even see no matter how big you get. Once you finally have to deal with that, and that's probably stuff that they've known for like a year or two. Her friend was dealing with the situation. If you don't ever get a chance to talk about it or address it or deal with it, it's always going to be something that's vulnerable. And nowadays with education and what you can find out and be aware of and avoid and be able to live with, you know, it's really becomes something that we just have to get past as a people, just in general.
Yeah, I just think overall with like Nicki and Monifa, it was like it's individuals that have impacted their life because like Nicki says like it was like her cousin, but he was always there encouraging her with her music, and now she really has to sing a song that she's dedicated to like her best friend, you know, someone who's there carrying her through her music, through her hard times. And even with Monifa, it's her brother. Again, someone real close to her that encouraged her music from day in and day out. And even with Kiki, it's probably the same person, someone who's encouraging her music day in and day out. So here, I'm singing a song dedicated to these individuals, with Kiki, who's living with it, her family member that's living with it, but Monifa and Nicki, someone who has passed away because of this type of disease, because they, back then, like she said, nobody really knew what it was.
Yeah.
Now it's like, it's more out there to where people can be educated about it, but back then it was just like, oh, like she said, oh, it was like, don't cough on me, don't sneeze on me, I might catch it type of thing, that the ignorance of people back in those times. But now it's just that, again, they're touched by the relationship. And because they are doing this event for AIDS, but they all singing a song because of, you know, it's someone that I love and that I miss.
There was a couple of the songs that I simply could not catch. Selena, I couldn't catch what song she was singing. Did you guys?
No, I didn't.
Okay,
But it's good.
It was good.
Yeah.
It was that, you know,
did
saying
that.
that
You know.
woman.
Yeah, her and Angie Stone, they're like
They got that soul.
They got that soul.
Yeah.
Soul
They got
circuit
that
right
soul
there,
mid
you know,
alto range, and
yeah.
they have
That
really,
good soul
yeah.
food cooking.
Yeah. And then Monifa sung a song called "It's Alright," which came off of her first CD that she wanted to dedicate, which really touched home for her because Monifa came out around 95, 96-ish, maybe.
Something like that, I think.
Yeah.
But
Mid-
I think
yeah.
I think that song was very. It meant a lot to her because she said she wrote that song for
Yeah.
her brother because of his
Yeah.
death, and so this was the first time she got to perform it. And
Yeah.
it basically, like, I wrote it for him. I'm performing it at an AIDS awareness event. This is completely for him.
Yeah.
And you know, she said when she was on the phone talking to her girlfriend, she said, "I can't cry because you know I could just see him talking about me and making fun of me."
Yeah, she was kind of
You
the
know,
rock
she's-
through this episode for
Yeah.
a lot of people.
Yeah,
She was definitely strong.
She's very strong.
she is.
Yeah, she's very strong, and she's the voice of reason a lot of times.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Kiki.
Killed it.
Even with her crying,
Yeah.
even with her
Yeah.
crying, she killed it.
So Kiki sung a song called "Peace on Earth," which is a song from Rochelle Farrell. Rochelle is a jazz singer
Man.
who is
Amazing.
she has a terrific voice. She's a jazz singer who's a mezzo soprano, and she has like a 5 to 6 octave range, which also
I think it's more than that, right?
well, 5 to 6 is still pretty damn high. That's
Yeah.
No, I'm thinking like 6, 7 because
Yeah.
Mariah has 8.
Mariah 6.
Oh, she has 6.
Yeah,
She
she's
said
6.
8. Okay.
But Kiki says that she was at once 12, and now she's about 6 because you know the pregnancy has put effect. So, but my point is, Rochelle has like a 5 to 6. Kiki has a 6. So you know Kiki was in good comfort. You knew Kiki was going. You knew
knew
Kiki
she was
was going
gonna
to give it to you.
Oh, man,
And
that's
Kiki
right.
didn't give it. I mean, Kiki can go way beyond that. But
Yeah.
like she
did good. I mean, just
the girl,
like
she slays every time she sings.
Right.
yeah, she was,
Yeah.
As crazy as she is,
As-
That's
that
what
dented canned
get away
green
with
beans
it.
will get you.
And you mentioned something in regards about how she is a little
crazy.
tick, but she can kind of get away with that because she knows when she sings.
You can't touch her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think she's the best singer on the show.
I would agree.
Most talented,
Yeah.
at least. I think everybody comes with their powerful quality that makes them a diva, that makes them signature, that makes them, you know, for their songs that you love and want to have those in the CD, right in your car. But with her voice, it's just like gospel in there,
Yeah.
R&B.
It's like
Kim
amazing.
Burrell
Yeah.
going crazy
Right.
with
Yeah.
the.
It was very Kimberell. It was the runs was
What you
crazy.
talking
Then she
about?
goes into range.
Yeah.
What I always trip out with Kiki, with her used to be a member of Destiny's Child. Can you imagine her and Beyonce going at each other? Just
She should blow Beyonce out the water.
I think she got
Out the
Beyonce.
water.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's loops around there.
Right.
But just those two together in a group, it just seems would be insane.
Yeah.
But you know, it didn't work out too well. But anyway, but I thought Kiki did a great. Now you wanted to mention the whole.
Well, yeah, but hold on. Before even we get to that, I will say I thought it was. So you guys remember at the beginning of the show when they were sitting at the table and Faith was telling them about Diva Simply Singing, and Angie had each one of them sing a part of a song.
Oh yeah, that's funny.
Kiki killed it then.
That's why we can't even say no more. She was like,
I can't follow behind that.
Nobody can follow after that. I just want to point that out. Kiki can sing. But I thought what was funny was the scene where Kiki was telling her kids about AIDS. And she put that hot dog in the microwave to show them what their parts would look like should they get an STD.
Yeah, it was
she's crazy.
I think it was kind of funny, but at the same time, you know, it would have been nice to see them really try to educate the kids. At the same time, it was such a deep episode that it needed a lighthearted family moment, and it shows that you should be able to come to your kids early, catch them early while they're at the dinner table chilling and don't know what that pee-pee look like. Don't eat your food. You know what I'm saying? Show them what it is and let it be a fun, but then get them to some actual facts. And I thought that was very cool of Michael to be like, yo, let's just take them to the computer, show them some real pictures.
Yeah.
Put them in the proper perspective to where it's not just that mysterious thing out there that you don't really know about until it's like right here in your face or you guys see somebody dealing with it.
And then she eats the hot dog, which
was
I mean, I'm not going to eat no hot dogs because I'm pesky vegan, but still, I was like, oh, I don't think anybody should ever eat the hot dog after that lesson with her shaking the hot dog.
She just bring it to perspective, that's all. That's like something I do with my kids. I'm like, really, I make them like, oh, it's like a lighthearted joke, but seriously, this is what happens.
Yeah, but eating a hot dog was
yeah, that was that then a can of green beans. She told y'all.
Let's go on to Nicki. What do you guys think about Nicki's performance?
I wish you would have finished the song.
I will say this, and when I say this, you better hush. Don't say nothing. Someone who's had to sing in public for a very sad occasion, it can be hard sometimes, and there's been times where I could not finish a song. So I totally understand where she was coming from. It seemed like it had been just eaten away at her. And the fact that her career has come back to life with R&B Divas. Her cousin Kenny, when they were back home, they used to talk about how they were going to make it. And they were going to both come to L.A. and become famous. And he knew that he was dying. And her cousin said, well, I'm not going to make it, but you're going to go to California. You're going to make it, and you're going to be famous. Just the thought of that, it's just like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
And now she has to go and think back to the conversations that she had. And now her career has kind of emerged again. So I totally can see what she was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but at the same time, I look at a lot of time when people have that much, like, emotion about another person, I feel like they didn't do what they supposed to do when that person was here.
That's a good point.
You know,
and she admits that, because you remember what she says. She says that there was times that they ostracized her cousin because they didn't know about the disease back then. You know, and she feels guilty about it.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of guilt with that.
I'm guilty because we've been into the show for almost 35 minutes, and I forgot to mention iTunes, and I'm really guilty about that. But let me tell you about iTunes. Make sure you guys go to iTunes. You can download, rate, leave comments. We are in the top 10 for the past 2 weeks, so thank you guys for rating and subscribing. Tell everybody about it, and don't forget that there's a great podcast that we have that downloads all of the applications that we have for the AfterBuzz shows, and you can also check out all of the AfterBuzz shows on Apple and Android devices.
Yes.
All right. So continuing. So I totally felt the emotion that she was dealing with, and then Kiki also. Kiki couldn't. She couldn't get it together at the rehearsals. She didn't want to sing that song. She wanted to do My First Love, I think it was, or If Only You Knew.
Yeah.
She wanted to do that song. She wanted to do something that was, very, to take her mind off that. But when I kind of had a feeling that Nicki was not going to be able to finish her song.
Yeah, I definitely did.
And the fact that it was That's What Friends Are For, that's a sing along song. That
That's
was
God's hand on a reality TV show.
That's what Friends Are For is originally performed by Dionne Warwick, and a special guest was Elton John, Stevie Wonder, and Gladys Knight. And it was one of those things back, if you Google, because what I did was I Googled at the American Music Award.
He was like, I Googled.
What I did was I Googled. I used the Google.
At the American Music Awards, they had this big sing along where one person started, and then there was all 55 million people on the stage, and they were all singing along. And so is it wrong for me to say that I kind of knew that was gonna happen?
Oh, well, maybe you did. I
knew it was gonna happen where they would all come on the stage and sing. I felt it.
I mean, I'm glad like Monifa kind of took the lead. It was just like, let's go help her out because like she was struggling. Like she had just had a moment when she was just like.
And she didn't recover because Kiki recovered. It took a second, but Kiki got right back in there. I don't think it was that long, but
she had the sniffles.
Yeah, but I think it got uncomfortable with Nicki. Like there was an uncomfortable silence, so they like, we got to just help her out.
Help her out. So 'cause even when they started like joining in to sing with her, she didn't really sing. She was just kind of like, I'm here.
She was
but
just
I'm
talking
really...
like Kirk Franklin talking. You know how you just like add, you just talk. Yeah. Something like that. That's cool. Yeah. That's cool.
What was interesting was. You notice who was holding her hand as they were walking off stage?
Right. Selena.
Selena Johnson.
She sure
What did she say?
They're gonna
Kiki, ladies and gentlemen, it's Kiki. Before they walked off.
And they walked off.
Yeah.
And that's why I was like, this shows me that they could potentially have a tour where both
Kiki
of them
wasn't
are
on stage though.
Not Kiki, Nicki.
Yeah.
Was Kiki on stage?
No, she wasn't.
No, Kiki wasn't.
She had a moment.
Oh, because she had to go backstage and finish letting out her cry.
Yeah. But I just wonder if like Nicki really gonna let the Selena thing go. I don't think so.
I mean, I think
I bet if she does, she gonna bring that up.
Right. I think like I don't think the venom will be as potent.
But like, girl, I hold your hand on the stage.
That's what I'm saying. I think that will mean something to her. So
you remember?
I was holding your hand.
I'll use this.
I said good night to you.
I'll use this in church terms. On Sunday, we get the words. We feel good. Hey, we feel good.
Yeah.
And we go out into the world and we feel good. By Tuesday, Wednesday, it just starts to you start to dwindle and you go back on Sunday, you feel good again. And so that's personally what I feel. I don't think they're
I think it's gonna be more
they
drama.
need a good Sunday moment. Just to chill out for a second.
Because it's been crazy.
It was like almost about to go left where they gonna have to put hands on each other. It was like you only gonna get to say so much without having like a we cool moment so we can get back to arguing and be back on some regular basis. So it was a good moment. They needed it.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
Timely.
All right, so let's go into news and gossip.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Meg Scoop.
Well, because of my fantastic singing skills, I have been added to R&B Divas LA. That's what friends are for.
I'm sorry, you've been what?
That's just in my head. I wish I could be added.
I know who the cast is.
You know what? You're such a hater. I rebuke thee. So, there is a new cast of wonderful singing ladies. They are on the new R&B Divas LA, which premieres July 10th on TVOne. And this cast, I'm so excited to see. So excited. There's Lil Mo, Kelly Price, Shantae Moore, Don Robinson, Michelle A, Claudette Ortiz. This is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
All of these women are awesome.
Well, Kelly Price is a solo artist. Lil Mo's a solo artist. Claudette Ortiz is from City High, which was Wyclef Jean's protege. And Shantae Moore is a solo artist. Who else?
Don Robinson was from En Vogue.
She's from En Vogue.
And Michelle A is
And Michelle A is the one who was Dr. Dre's protege, and then she married Suge Knight.
We might see Suge Knight on the show.
So I'm really looking forward to R&B Divas LA, and I can't wait to.
So that's more songs for me to sing.
Okay, well, and speaking of singing, and so Latasha Scott, she checked out last week's AfterBuzz R&B Divas recap, and she tweeted us and said that she liked the show. She thought we did a really good job, and so I am in talks now with Rocky to see if she's gonna come on.
Can Rocky come on too?
Well, I hope Rocky comes because we got some questions for Rock. Rock, we got some questions for you, and we want to know what's going on with you and Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully.
Well, speaking of Mike, the way Rocky don't like Mike, Mike has a spin-off show. The World According to Mike.
Your words.
Wow.
Yeah, so you call a man a bitch? Get him a show.
He got it on one episode. Please check it out on TVOne.
What do you guys think about that?
It's just gonna be a show of Kiki.
I hope they show a lot of Kiki.
I think it's gonna be dominant Kiki.
Yeah, I think it's his circus act with her. I think you finally get to understand, like, hopefully what's behind all the craziness and how he's dealing with the punching bag effect.
Yeah.
And then also his business, you know, because he is a businessman and a minister. So yeah.
Do you think that it's kind of almost like the world, what is it, the word or the world?
The world.
The world according to Mike. Do you think it's kind of like, I don't want to say a joke, but like we see his world, the world according to him, but it's really Kiki?
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be Kiki world.
Yeah.
It's definitely gonna be Kiki world, and Mike's just kind of playing a part in Kiki's world.
Yeah, we'll see, I'm sure we'll probably see him how he's deal with managing her in his ministry and having to deal with the kids. You know, his perspective of the world. But you know, definitely, I think this is something for both Kiki and Mike, since they are the comedic ones of the show.
I can't get enough of that Kiki, honey. Can't get enough of her.
Just don't sing Kiki.
You know.
And so I know what. Let's talk predictions.
Predictions. There we go. Predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
So let's go to Meg Scoop, ladies first. What's your prediction?
My prediction is that Selena and Nicki are gonna go at it again, but not as bad as before, because there was a little heart-wrenching moment from this episode.
My prediction is that the tour is gonna happen. I want to see the tour.
Okay.
My predictions are that the tour is going to happen. I also think that Kiki is going to do something dramatic to show her super diva-ness from the crew.
I agree with that.
That's true. That's true because, as Kiki says, Kiki doesn't need to do the tour.
No, man.
Yeah. My prediction is I think the fighting will continue. I think there will be more singing. This Latasha career thing, I don't think it's over. I think she's going to. I don't think it's going to be as easy as she thought it's going to be, and I think she's going to have a couple of stumbling.
I don't think it's going to be produced by Jermaine Dupri.
Absolutely, the way he was giving her shade.
Yeah. She's going to be with Drummer Boy too, right?
Yeah.
Angie Stone going to be right in there. Well, let me get her.
Better go to Drummer Boy.
Right.
Well, we want to thank you guys for tuning in. Let everyone know where you can be found on social media.
Well, you can always find me singing in these streets, or you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, at Meg Scoop, like scoop of ice cream. Hater.
Fellas.
And you can find me at Larice Shamar, and also check out TruePeoplesMedia.com, Instagram, True Peoples.
You can find me at All Eyes on Black, spelled correctly, or on Facebook, Alfred Thomas. Look on my face.
And you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Bamm Ericsen, and you can also find me at Big Six Entertainment. So we want to thank you guys for tuning in to R&B Diva Season 2, Episode 5, A Good Day to Cry Hard. I'm Bamm Ericsen. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys next week.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.